So again, these are the countries of the Western Europe. As any country we study, we need to mention the physical features at the beginning. The region landscapes include plains and mountains. Let's talk about its place or its location. Europe lies in the northern European plain, which will affect all the physical features and also the climate. Europe lies in the northern European plain, and this have glaciers, and glaciers was the main reason behind shaping the landscapes of Western Europe. Now, what was the effect of glaciers? As you know, that glaciers are massive sheets of ice that was shaped during the Ice Age, which ended 11,000 years ago. Melting glaciers has left us with fertile soil, which is good for farming. And also it left us with sand and gravel. And sand and gravels and all these deposits have eroded, whether in sand dunes or has left us with wetlands or poorly wetlands across the coasts of the British Isles. So what we need to know about the physical features, at the beginning we need to know that glaciers have shaped the landscapes of Western Europe, which has affected our nature or the physical features of Europe. It left us with massive sheets of ice. These glaciers are melting, and when they melt, they left us with fertile soil and deposits which eroded in sand dunes, and also it left us with wetlands along the coasts of the British Isles. Now, what are the most important landforms in Western Europe? We have the Alps Mountains, the Pyrenees Mountains, and we have the Middle Rhine Highlands Plateau. So we have three main physical features: Alps Mountains, Pyrenees Mountains, and the Middle Rhine Highlands Plateau. The Middle Rhine Highlands Plateaus, it covers parts of Germany, Belgium, France, Luxembourg, and they have average height of 915 meters. We'll have a very important question, which is to compare between the two mountain ranges that separate Europe from Southern Europe. And also the divide cooler climate of the north and the warm, dry climate of the Mediterranean region. What are these two mountain ranges? They are the Pyrenees Mountains and the Alps Mountains. So let me stop and ask a question before I go further. What are the most three important landforms of Western Europe? Yes, yeah, Mihat.
The Alps Mountain, the Pyrenees Mountains, and the Middle Rhine Plateaus.
Thank you very much. These are the most important physical features. We have a very important question about, we're going to compare between the Alps Mountains and the Pyrenees Mountains, but they have a very important role. They separate what from what? Yes, Hannah.
They separate Western Europe from Southern Europe.
And also separate?
And they separate like
the cooler climate from
divide like the climate. Yes, they divide the climates from the cooler climate of the north and the warmer dry climate of the Mediterranean region from the south.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to be having a very important question, which is compare between the Alps Mountains and the Pyrenees Mountains. We need to compare considering the location, the length, the tallest peak, and how are they formed. Let's start by the location. The Pyrenees Mountains are between France and Spain, but the Alps Mountains are extending in France, Switzerland, Austria, and Germany. You need to memorize their lengths. They are very important. The Pyrenees are 2,435 kilometers, and the Alps are 1,207 kilometers. The tallest peak, we have Pico do Anito. This is the Pyrenees, and in the Alps, the tallest peak is Mont Blanc. How they are formed? They are formed the same way. The folding of rocks that result from plate tectonic, they were also shaped by glaciers. So they are shaped by two ways, folding of rocks of the tectonic plates and shaped by glaciers. So you need to consider their location, their length, the tallest peak, and how are they formed. Let's talk about the different types or bodies of water of the coast Western Europe. Actually, we have different or three types of bodies of water. We have oceans, seas, and rivers. For the oceans, we have the Atlantic Ocean, which you've already seen on the map. For the seas, we have three seas. We have the North Sea, we have the English Channel, and also we have the Mediterranean Sea. Let's talk about the North Sea. The North Sea is separate between the islands of Britain and the rest of Europe. They are very rich ground for fishing, especially in Netherlands and United Kingdom. As any sea, it is important in trading, but this one also is important as a large oil and gas reserve. It also plays an important role in order to help hinder the Dutch people who are living in Netherlands. So what's the importance of the North Sea? It separates the island of Britain from the rest of Europe. It is a ground rich ground for fishing, trade, rich ground for fishing, trade, transportation, and also it is a large oil and gas reserve. But the most important role it plays, which is helping to hinder the people of Netherlands. Why it help? Because 25% of Netherlands country is below the sea level, and they have the North Sea. So Dutch, in order to protect their country, have built something called dikes. What are the dikes? Dikes are like dams. They are walls to hold the water back. Walls to hold the water back. What we call the land that reclaimed from the sea boulders, we call it boulder. These boulders are a very good land for farming and for settlement. But sometimes stormy seas will break these dikes, causing floods, especially in recent years. So again, the most important bodies of water, we have oceans, seas, and rivers. The most important ocean is the Atlantic Ocean. The North Sea, we need to know about the North Sea, that it separates Britain from the rest of Europe. It is very rich ground for fishing, trade, transportation. Also, it is a very large reserve of oil and natural gas, but it plays an important role to help hinder Dutch people of Netherlands. Why do we need to help them? Because Netherlands is a land below the sea level. So the North Sea, when we have floods, they will sink. So they have built dikes. Dikes are like dams. They are walls to hold the water back. But building dikes have affected us with reclaiming a land. This land is called boulder. The boulder is the land which is reclaimed by the dikes. This land is very important. Yes, it is important for farming, and also they use it for settlement. But what happens when seas have like storms? They broke these dikes and they cause floods. Let's move to the English Channel. English Channel is a very famous one. It's a waterway that separates the United Kingdom from France. It's different from the North Sea. North Sea separates the island of Britain from Europe, but the English Channel separates United Kingdom from France. It is a busy sea route that connects the North Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. And we have a tunnel which is built underneath the channel. It's called the channel. It includes car lanes, railroads, fast trains that linking the United Kingdom to Europe, which is very successful system. Actually, if you live in any country in Europe, you can go to another country only by using the trains. You can move back from France to Belgium using the train, to Germany. So it makes it very easy. You don't have to use a plane in order to move around Europe. And we have the Mediterranean Sea. So again, before I go further, who can tell me about the most important bodies of water in Western Europe? Hannah Hani?
Yes. We have oceans,
Like
like the
that.
Atlantic Ocean,
Thank you.
and we have 3 seas,
Hmm?
the North Sea
Yes,
and the Mediterranean Sea.
and English
Channel.
Channel. And we have mentioned that the North Sea has different importances. Do you know, anyone can help me with these benefits? I have many people are attending.
Miss, can you re-ask this question?
Yes, who's asking? Uta?
أيوة.
Okay. The North Sea has many benefits. What are they? Or state some facts about the North Sea.
Like it separate the United Kingdom islands from Europe,
Yes.
and it made the Netherlands build dikes to help them from the floods in the summer.
Thank you very much. Yes. Also, like any waterway, it has importance with what, in what, and what, and what.
In fishing,
Trading and traveling.
Traveling, transportation, trade, and fishing.
oil gas reserve.
Thank you very much. And also, it is like an oil gas reserve. Let's continue about the lesson. We have also talked about the English Channel, which has a very important benefit, which connects us to all Europe, or connects actually the countries of Europe to each other. Let's talk about the rivers. We have 6 important rivers: the Thames River, the Rhine, the Loire, which we call it also the Seine, the Alp, the Main, and the Danube. Western Europe has many rivers, which has also many benefits. It determines the location of the main cities, such as London, Paris, and Hamburg. Rivers and canals provide roads for transportation and also hydroelectric power. They form political borders. So what are the benefits of rivers in Europe? They determine the location of the most important cities. Rivers provide us with roads for transportation and electrical power. Also, it gives us political borders. We have the Thames River in England. It becomes an estuary when it reaches the London, and when it reaches London, then extends to the North Sea. What does it happen, or what's the definition of it? It's when the river currents and the ocean tides meet. Also, we have the Rhine. Rhine is the busiest waterway in Europe. It runs from Swiss Alps to the North Sea. Here we have comparison between the rivers of Western Europe. Here you need to mention its location and the natural features if you have any. The Thames River, it is in the United Kingdom. It is around 435 kilometers from coast hills to the North Sea, passing through London. We have the Rhine. Its location in Switzerland, Germany, France. It begins to the Swiss Alps to the North Sea, and it forms part of the political borders between Germany and France. We have also the Loire, which is the Seine in France. It runs through the most important agriculture region in France, which will help us to define France as a very important region for agriculture. And it also passes through Paris. The Main, which is in Germany. It has a major tributary of the Rhine River, and we have the Elbe River in Germany, and we have the Danube River in Germany and in Austria. So when we are asked to compare between the different rivers of Eastern Europe, you need to mention its location and the physical features if they have any. As you can see from the locations of the river, it also defines the most important cities of Western Europe. What are the main climate zones of Western Europe? As you need, when we are talking about the physical features, we need to mention also the climate and the resources. Here we are talking about the climate. We have two different types of climate. We have the marine west coast climate and we have the Mediterranean climate. The marine west coast climate covers most of Europe due to westerlies. The westerlies, which are warm winds. These warm winds are coming from the tropical forests. Now, what did it do to Europe? Because they are warm, they are coming in the Caribbean islands and they crosses the Atlantic to Europe from west to east, and they are heated by the warm water of the North Atlantic currents. It makes Europe warmer than the other regions on the same latitude. So why Europe is warmer, although other countries on the same latitude are not that warm? Because of westerlies. Westerlies are warm winds coming from the tropical forests. When these warm winds comes, they make the climate of Europe warmer. It brings mild temperature and rain in summer. Mild temperature and rain. In summer, it is cool, but in winter, it's not very cold. It's milder. So although we know that Europe is very, very cold, but actually the climate of Western Europe is not that cold because of the westerlies. Westerlies are warm winds coming from the tropical forests. Now, why it is called the marine west coast climate? Because there is no mountain ranges to stop it. And also, we don't have mountain ranges in order to stop these westerlies. So these westerlies cross the Atlantic Ocean to Europe, makes the climate of Europe warmer than the other climates on the same latitudes. So we have two different types of climate. We have the marine west coast climate and the Mediterranean climate. The marine west coast climate have westerlies. Westerlies are warm winds, comes from the tropical forests. It crosses the Atlantic Ocean to Europe, which gives it a milder climate or a warm climate. What about the Mediterranean climate? Southern coasts of France have warm nights and cold days and drier climate. And most of the rainfall occurs in spring and autumn. So these are the main two climates in Western Europe. Who can tell me what are the two important climate in Western Europe? Okay, Hannah, Yasser.
The main climates in Western Europe are marine west coast climate and the Mediterranean climate.
Yes, marine west coast climate is a warm climate. Why? Who can tell me why? Why it is warm? Hannah.
Because it have westerlies.
Westerlies?
Westerlies, which are warm winds.
Warm wind. What happens with this warm wind? Who can add Uta?
It comes from the west, from the tropical climates, and there is no mountain range to stop it to reach the.
Yes, so it crosses the Atlantic Ocean and it gives Europe a warmer climate. What about the Mediterranean climate? Who can tell me what about it? Hannah Yasser.
The Mediterranean climate is it has warm nights but cool days and drier climate, and most of rain falls in the spring and autumn, more than winter and summer. You're welcome.
Okay. Let's continue about the rest of the lesson. As you know about physical features, we need also to talk about the resources and What are the resources of Western Europe? Actually, like any country, we have the coal, which is mainly produced by the United Kingdom, Belgium, Netherlands, France, and Germany. But also we have the oil and the natural gas, which is produced mainly from the North Sea by the United Kingdom, Netherlands, and Germany. Also, we have the hydropower or the hydroelectricity, especially in Switzerland, which produces almost half its power needs, which give us a question. Why do we have the hydroelectric power? Why do you think there is a part of the resources is the hydroelectric power? Who can tell me? Uta?
Because of the bodies of water and the dikes that is built across the coast of Netherlands.
And also because we have different types of rivers. Also, we
Yes.
have falling water from the rivers. We have hydroelectric power, which is widely used in Western Europe, actually. They are very common or very wide used in Western Europe, especially in Switzerland. They are very developed country, and they produce half of its power needs from the hydroelectricity or hydroelectric power. About the agriculture is very important in France. Actually, France is the world's top country in assigning lands for farming, especially they are producing wheat and vine. So the most important country in agriculture is France. Also in Netherlands, they are specializing in dairy products or dairy farming or crops that are related to dairy products from especially the cows. Also, we have in the British Isles, we have dense forests and grassland, and we have two different types of forests. The natural vegetation is mostly deciduous forest, which are trees that lose their leaves in fall, or coniferous trees, which are the trees which has, like the pine trees, has cones with seeds inside it, and they are located in the drier climate. We need also to know what's meant by coniferous and deciduous. Also, wildlife in Western Europe has a big portion. We have different wildlife such as deer, wild boars, hares, wild cats, and foxes. So what do we need to know about the farm or the land? That France is the world top country in assigning land for farming. And they are very special in agriculture, and they have producing wheat and vine and all the products or the crops that are related to producing dairy products. Also, we need to know that the British Isles have dense forests, such as the deciduous forests, which are trees which lose their leaves in fall, and coniferous trees, which has pine trees, and trees with cones and seeds inside them. Also, we have a portion of wildlife in these forests. This was the lesson for the week. Do you want me to re-explain something? You want to ask any question?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I hope inshallah it's you can understand it. Go through the PowerPoint. I will upload the PowerPoint inshallah by the end of the day. I will also upload the homework sheet. You need to go through the PowerPoint before you answer the homework sheet. Send me the homework sheet through email only. I want to accept anything of those 3 emails. If you have any question, do not hesitate to contact me. You have our group. You can contact me about any question. If you want me to re-explain any part, especially for the online students, we have our online session on Sunday, right? I guess it's on Sunday. Do not hesitate to enter and ask me. About the physical students, you can ask me anything about this lesson in the class on Sunday, inshallah. Now, stay safe and see you. I hope, inshallah, to see you next week. The school really misses you guys. Yalla, bye.
Bye.